What a time to be an NFL player. These players today are getting paid. So let's get this party started. Today, in this video, we are going to discuss a historic week for extensions in the NFL and how one of these extensions may benefit the Baltimore Ravens going forward. And lastly, we're going to talk about, is an MVP quarterback holding his team back from winning in the playoffs? All this coming up.
Yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
This week in the NFL, there have been a couple of extensions that have put non-quarterbacks on the forefront. The first gigantic extension coming with Justin Jefferson, signing a 4-year extension for $140 million with the Minnesota Vikings. This keeps Jefferson with Minnesota for an extra 4 years for an average of $35 million per season. Now, I know back when Tyreek Hill was traded to the Miami Dolphins and he was signed for $30 million per year, everyone lost their mind saying, these wide receivers aren't worth it. This is the highest extension on a per year average for a non-quarterback, coming in at $35 million a season, surpassing Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers. It is deals like these that make some teams a little more content with signing their players early on. This is something that the Baltimore Ravens probably will never have to worry about.
It means no worries,
because they will never see a wide receiver get $100 million. We just don't have those type problems over here in Baltimore.
tell me why.
But for some of the other GMs throughout the league, they foresaw this coming. I think everybody and their mama knew that Justin Jefferson was going to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. So some teams jumped to the forefront, like the Philadelphia Eagles extending A.J. Brown for 3 years, $96 million, then turning around and extending Devontae Smith for 3 years and $75 million. Then you throw in the Jalen Waddle contract, who extended for $84 million. They knew what was coming. They knew that Justin Jefferson was going to raise the bar as far as pricing was concerned with wide receivers. Now, one team that got in the mix a little bit early was the Detroit Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown, extending him for $120 million. Different teams, different circumstances. But once they saw St. Brown extended, some teams knew that they had to jump in and get their receivers done early before the price got too out of hand. Even though a lot of these wide receivers are not on the caliber that Justin Jefferson is, but you still know for the most part that it is the next man up. And the next man up normally gets paid a lot more money, especially if you are one of the superstars of the league. But I think that another part to this was Justin Jefferson just lost his quarterback with Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm sure that he felt he needed to be compensated for playing with either Sam Darnold or a rookie quarterback. But yet and still, Justin Jefferson is one of the top 10 players in all of the NFL, getting over 1,000 receiving yards last season while damn near missing half of the year. And not to be outdone, the San Francisco 49ers announced an extension of their own, with them extending running back Christian McCaffrey to a 2-year, $38 million extension. Now, Christian McCaffrey is coming off of a 4-year, $64 million extension with the Carolina Panthers, and the 49ers wanted to lock up their most important weapon for the foreseeable future. He will be tied to the 49ers unless something changes until he is 31 years old. The 49ers looked at Christian McCaffrey and said, what devaluation? We don't devalue running backs over here because CMC is a jack of all trades. He can rush for 1,000. He can receive for 1,000. He is one of the indefensible players in the NFL, and the 49ers knew this, so they figured, let's lock him up right now. But the Christian McCaffrey extension, not the Justin Jefferson extension, is what brings me to the Baltimore Ravens. With San Francisco extending Christian, that leaves one of their own in limbo, and that one being Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk, playing on his 5th-year option, desperately wants a long-term extension, but the 49ers and Ayuk cannot come together on an agreeable price. This is where I believe that Eric DeCosta can swoop in and make his mark. Because me personally, if I'm a player of Ayuk's caliber, I am one of the reasons that we have gone to Super Bowls, that we are dominating in the NFC. I'm looking around like, hey, I'm looking for a new contract and you're not doing anything for me. But you go out here and you have this money to give to this running back in a devalued system. I would feel a little bit slighted, and to me, that may fracture the relationship between Ayuk and the 49ers. So Do not be surprised if Ayuk reiterates that he wants out of that organization. And more importantly, he has not showed up to any team activities, further denoting that there is an issue there. And I know a lot of Ravens fans are going to be like, we don't need Brandon Ayuk. We don't need him. We've got young wide receivers. Yes, we have young wide receivers. We have Zay Flowers, who had an outstanding rookie year, but we don't know if that is his ceiling or what. He may become better. This is the hope. This is what we believe in him. But nowadays in the NFL, you need a running mate. And I know a lot of people are going to say, man, we just drafted Tez Walker. He's going to come in here and be what we need him to be. But if you think about it, in the history of the Baltimore Ravens drafting wide receivers, Torrey Smith, Hollywood Brown, and Zay Flowers, we don't have a very large hit rate when it comes to the wide receiver position. And this is not to say that Tez is not going to come in and be the wide receiver that we expect him to be, but we just don't know if it's going to be this season, next season, or the season after that. We know what Brandon Ayuk brings to the table. He has gotten better statistically year after year since he's entered the NFL. And like it or not, we let OBJ walk out the door, and he was our second leading wide receiver. As bad as he played, as much time as he's missed, and as many snaps as he was not in on, he still came in at number 2 as our wide receiving option. So to expect Aguilar or Walker to just jump up and be that number 2 guy is a lot to ask. Why not go out here and get this proven commodity that can come in and help us get over the hump? And speaking of getting over the hump, CBS Sports put out an article the other day, and it had one burning question for each of the AFC North teams. And the question that came up for the Baltimore Ravens is, can Lamar Jackson exercise his playoff demons? This is a question that all Ravens fans have. For some reason, the Ravens just cannot get it done when it comes to the playoffs. They do not have a lot of playoff success under Lamar Jackson, despite having some of the better rosters and leading the league in wins in 2019 and 2023. For some reason, I don't know where the disconnect is. Is it the play on the field? Is it the coaching staff? Is it a combination of both? But for some reason, every time Lamar and the Ravens get into the playoffs, they score a season low in points. Not a season low for just the playoffs, a season low for the entire season. For some reason, when we get into the playoffs and lose, those games are the games that the Ravens just cannot find ways to score. And is this going to be the year that we finally get over that hump? Is this the year that Lamar Jackson finally gets over 500 in his playoff career? Because if we win that divisional game, we win that AFC Championship, and we win that Super Bowl, that will put Lamar at a 5-4 record. What a fitting way for him to kill that playoff narrative by winning a Super Bowl. But this is a daunting task for this franchise, especially with all the losses. And with the CBS article, they spoke about how they don't have a lot of confidence in the Ravens doing much this postseason. And in the article it states, once again, the Ravens have supplied him with a receiving core that is lacking a premier talent. Zay Flowers showed promise as a rookie, and 4th-round pick Tez Walker will bring something to the table this year, but the group as a whole is still lacking. And this is the thing that I've talked about, other guys have spoken about. We are lacking, and we don't know what we have. Then you add in the fact we don't know who's going to block. Yes, we brought in Derrick Henry, and through this last week I've seen at least 25 articles that keeps getting recycled on these same publications speaking about the addition of Derrick Henry. And while I think Derrick Henry will maybe do just fine, we don't know who's going to block for him. We're wishing on a star. We're hoping and praying.
Wishing and hoping and thinking and praying
that these guys can come in and do their job. And they may come in and play decently. We don't know. But even if they do throughout the season, what's going to happen playoff time? There were some people online today talking about, yes, the Ravens have had success in developing guys. In their 3rd or 4th year, they come around and they do amazing things. And then they go get paid, which for the most part is true. But if you think about it, Rosengarten isn't in his 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year. Andrew Voorhees, he's not in his 3rd or 4th year. So we're putting in pieces and we're giving and making up the excuses that yes, the Ravens develop, but some of these guys are coming in fresh. Your guy, Andrew Voorhees, he's technically a rookie, never played a snap in the NFL. So they're kind of putting Lamar behind the 8 ball when it comes to giving him help offensively to overcome these demons. For me, this is the year. This has to be the year that the Baltimore Ravens get over that hump, because if not, Jonathan Harbaugh, his job may be in jeopardy. There is only so far that certain people can take a team. And so far, we have gotten to a point where we were truly dominant during the regular season, but playoff time, we fall flat. And of course, we cannot put all of this on Lamar, but of course, as the quarterback, as the highest paid, as the face of a franchise, everything falls upon his shoulders. So you let me know, do you really think that this is the year that Lamar Jackson overcomes his playoff demons? All right, appreciate you for rocking out with your boy. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are aware when I come up with new videos. We're trying some new things over here. We're trying to go in a different direction. It's not been easy, but we're going to keep it pushing. So stay tuned for everything that we have in store. Got myself, LBHT, Coach. We doing some things. But until next time, you already know, it's your boy.